Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing not necessarily a review or anything like that, but sort of a topic discussion video about TBRs specifically and my experience with them and why I think my TBRs are in the way that I plan stuff out to read and review on the channel is going to change. I think it's becoming a little outdated. Um, and maybe taking a new approach to it. Now, I'm sure I'm not the first person to come to this conclusion. I'm sure this is something that's probably common knowledge, but I'm just now finding it out as I become a more avid reader and am engrossed more in the booktube culture. Yeah, I'm sure this is something that people are going to say, oh, you haven't already been doing this? But I just wanted to talk about it. So if you guys do go on to enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd greatly appreciate it. And yeah, let's get into it. Now, what is a TBR? Now, this is a simple question that most of you probably know the answer to. A TBR is a to be read list. Now you have your overall TBR, which is the huge collection of books that are on your list to read someday. But a lot of people set TBRs for the year, books that they want to get to for the year, or TBRs for the month even, or for the quarter, for the half of the year, every 6 months. Some people have it different. Depending on how much they read, the size of the TBR might be different. People that read 10 books a month might have a huge, TBR because they just read so much. But people who don't read as much, their monthly TBR might be like 2 books. That's typically like mine, depending on the size of the book. My TBR for the month is either between like 1 and 3 books a month. Usually on the lower end. 2 is usually where I sit at. Or if I'm reading a big book like Stormlight and I'm letting it, if I'm fully engrossed in that, it might just be the one book that I read for the month, and then still not be finished with it. But what I wanted to talk about specifically is like the yearly TBR and like big reading plans, and just the kind of person that I am. Whenever I set goals like that, I'm very strict with it, and like I like the idea of a TBR because you're laying it out and you're saying these are the ones that I want to get to. But I find that with myself, I'm very, like I said, very strict with it, and it doesn't allow for much reading freedom. Like obviously these are all books that I like, that I put on my TBR, or not, that I feel like I will like, rather. So it's not that I don't and wouldn't enjoy reading them, but sometimes I just want to read some other stuff, and not stick to what I said that I was gonna read 6 months ago. I guess this is what they kind of call mood reading, which is something that's already been established. Like, that's just a thing, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here. But that's something that I kind of want to embrace a bit more moving forward. Because if I stick to just a TBR and make it to where I have to read like this set amount of books, it kind of takes the fun out of it. Yeah, they're cool books, they're cool series, it's topics that I like, but then it becomes almost an assignment, and there comes a point where now it's no different from, reading a book for school. Obviously I'm reading it for enjoyment, personal enjoyment, but it's the same sort of deal. I'm no longer reading what I want when I want to read it. I'm reading this because I have to, and I don't feel like doing that. I don't think that that's how I should be approaching reading. Yeah, I just don't think like that. Another big thing is my one of the big goals and the main goal for the year was to read through Stormlight Archive. I'm halfway through Oathbringer at the moment, and I'm taking a break to read some other things that, quite honestly, weren't even on my TBR. In fact, I'm reading the Horus Heresy right now. Reading the first book, and I'm a little over halfway through that. I had no idea about this series until like a few weeks ago. So, complete mood read, breaking the TBR, and I think that's okay. It's good to switch things up, and I shouldn't be locked in to what I had set 6 months ago as far as my reading. Like, it's just kind of dumb, in my opinion. And I know that's why a lot of people don't set huge, yearly TBRs. I mean, they have like a rough guideline, which if you take your TBR as like gospel, and it's like, okay, this is everything that has to get done, rather than a rough guideline, then I don't know. It's just not fun. That's why, people who I respect, for one, Matt's fantasy book reviews, the way that he has his set up, and it just comes down to your personal preference, but the way that he has his setup it's like a rotation. It's like and it feels like an endless stream of just his TBR that's just like knocking one down after another, and they're almost like ranked. So like, I don't know how else to explain it, but his reading plans and like the way he goes about it seems very mechanical and industrial. It's a very industrious way of doing it, that really just feels like, a conveyor belt. Like you're on the line, just doing one after another. And all the respect to Matt and what he's got going on works for him, but I don't understand. Just me personally, I don't know how I could do that. And that's not what I am gonna do. But when I see stuff like that, to me, it's unfathomable. This video is probably going on much longer than it needs to be, and I'm kind of just rambling at this point. I probably need to get to the point. And that is, I'm going to be taking a new approach to how I do my reading plans, and like what I'm going to read and review for the month. And I think I am going to do it monthly and just kind of pick, not have to necessarily do a whole series at once. And that's also like a fault that I have. That's something that I do, is when I start to read a series, I have to like read everything that's out in that series, and then be caught up. That's just how I am. I don't like to take breaks much, but I think I am gonna embrace that more. Read a few in a series and then take a break, read some other stuff, and then come back to it maybe at some point. If I am really enjoying it and wanting to continue, then sure, I'll read as much of it as I want, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And I think that a lot of people also, not just myself, when you are in BookTube, or Book Talk or whatever, there's this illusion that your reading is now, it's almost like you're reading for other people, and it's constantly a race. And I think, myself and a lot of people need to take a step back and look at it and be like, hey, reading is a hobby. I'm reading for myself. I don't need to read for other people. I'm reading for myself. Read what I want to read. And there are some people, a lot of booktubers have like a Patreon and stuff where it's like, you pay to, have me read a book you want to read, which, I mean, if you are a fast reader and you have tons of, not necessarily tons of time, but you're able to fit in as many books as you want a month, and you're able to make money off of that, and you find it lucrative, then by all means do that. But I don't think that that's something that I could ever do. and that's part of the reason why I don't always accept arcs and like review copies and stuff. Like, I mean, yeah, I'll take them, but I'm not gonna read them most likely unless I have a huge drive to read it. You know, I want to read what I want to read when I want to read it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just an interesting topic. So moving forward, like I said, my huge goal for the year was Stormlight. I'm taking a break from Oathbringer right now. And the goal was to be caught up with the series by the time Wind and Truth comes out. And I was kind of stressing myself out about getting Oathbringer finished because so far, halfway through, like, I'm enjoying it kind of, but it's kind of boring. I'm not, right now it's sitting at like a 4 stars for me. I don't have a whole lot of motivation to continue in that book. Like, I'm going to, I want to, I love Stormlight, but I really don't have any motivation at the moment to continue with that book. And then I have Rhythm of War, which, from what I've heard, is most people's least favorite book in the series. So if I'm not looking forward to it necessarily because it's a huge book and most people like it less than Oathbringer. So why would I try to rush to try to get to something that I know is going to be a slog? That's sort of how I'm feeling. But then I kind of took a step back recently and was like, why do I need to get to Wind and Truth, you know, right when it comes out? You know, why am I doing this? The book is going to be there for me whenever, you know, whether it's, you know, at the beginning of 2025 or if it's in 2030, the book is still going to be there and I can read it whenever. And just coming at it from that approach, I think, has helped me a bit. So yeah, I mean, I am going to continue like reading through series and stuff, but I guess what I read is going to be a little bit more sporadic just because it's mood reads. Something I am not going to try to do though is start a bunch of series. I do like to keep series that I'm reading, like, only have a few like ones that I'm starting and ongoing with. You know, once I get caught up with a series, then cool, I'll start another one, but I don't want to have read a bunch of book ones and then not continue in many of them. That's another fear of mine, but yeah, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, this is becoming kind of a rambly video. I apologize. I just wanted to talk about the nature of TBRs and how I see it at this point in my reading career, and, you know, this point on being over a year now on BookTube, which is crazy. Just how I see it and how my thoughts have changed. So yeah, definitely in the comments, or if you want to hit me up on Discord, let me know how you guys, you know, handle your TBR and like how you guys handle going about reading. You know, do you read what you want to read whenever, or like how do you, if you have a TBR, how strict is it? Is it more like guidelines, or, you know, let me know how you guys read. You know, I want to know, maybe take some notes, so I can continue to have fun reading and not be burnt out. And yeah, just have fun as the main part, because I'm not reading for anybody else. You know, I'm reading for me, and it's a hobby. It shouldn't feel like a chore or a job, because it isn't. Yeah, I don't ever want it to feel that way. So let me know how you guys go about it. But yeah, that's going to be about it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. Maybe take some notes on what I'm saying, maybe, you know. And yeah, like I said, let me know what you guys do. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.